Zach, very simply, what's the mood been like around the place after that fantastic result and performance last weekend?
Yeah, I think positive, just in general. I think we'll take a lot of positives from that game, but at the same time, I think we'll use that as momentum to take into the next game, and definitely not get too ahead of ourselves. I think that's the main thing we've discussed as a group, is not to let complacency set in. And although, take again the positives from that game, but not get too ahead of ourselves.
I mean, as a group, you've rightly been praised for what happened last weekend, but is that very much the message in-house here at the moment? Yep, look, you're deserving of the praise, but you've got a whole lot of work still to do and haven't achieved anything yet.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're in no position where we think, where we're going to get ahead of ourselves. We know what we've got to do and what the task ahead is. And although we'll take those moments and live in the highs, but you can't live in them for too long. And we'll be looking to our next game.
Well, I guess the flip side of all that is it must give you a huge belief and perhaps added impetus for this relegation fight.
Yeah, of course. I think it gives us confidence indeed, and I think, like you alluded to, there is good spirit in the team, and we'll use what we've created so far and take that into Saturday.
Obviously, every game's a huge game at the moment. This weekend, no exception. After that, you've then got another huge game in terms of the cup semi-final. Can the semi-final almost be an added incentive to the boys this weekend, that everyone's got to really show up, put their hand up to be part of the team at Hampden?
Yeah, I know it's cliche, but we'll treat every game individually as it comes, and yeah, I think everybody wants to play as many games as possible. So yeah, obviously an incentive to play in the cup game, but I think the main aim for all of the team will be to just add as much value they can.
And on adding value, in terms of yourself, you've played a huge part over the last couple of months. How do you feel that you've settled into things? Because you've not been in Scottish football for that long, but you seem to have adapted very well to it.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed it thoroughly, and I think the main thing I said when I come up here is obviously you want that sort of mutual benefit from both parties. You want, from my side, to aid the team as much as I can, and I hope I've done it, and will continue trying to do so. But also trying to get as much learning, experience and value from this loan move as I can, and so far I think it's done that extremely well.
Do you feel you've come on as a player yourself in the few months that you've been here?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's been loads of takeaways. Every game's different. Whether you come up against different ilks of strikers, and I think obviously the occasions, learning how to deal with that, different tactics. There's plenty of takeaways that I've had so far, and we'll definitely carry on.
Zach, obviously a lot's been made of the result of the weekend, and particularly there's been talk about the mentality of the Celtic team from Brendan Rodgers and others. How different do you think the game could be on Saturday from that point of view, in terms of the pace and intensity that you might be coming up against? Yeah,
I think we're not necessarily going to be comparing the two games. We'll treat it individually and go from there. I think we've looked at Dundee United and know what threats they're going to bring. Perhaps slightly different from a physical profile, but yeah, we'll try our best to deal with that. And again, not necessarily compare the two games, but use the momentum, use the learning from the Celtic game, and go from there.
Dundee United obviously have a big goal scorer in Sam Dalby at the moment. How do you plan on keeping him quiet?
Yeah, I think the main thing we've talked about at the moment is concentration levels, just consistently throughout the game. Obviously, he's a physical threat in himself, so you know, we've spoken about ways we can try and deal with that, and again, yeah, concentration levels throughout the whole game will be key.
Since the new year, you've avoided defeat in more than half of your games. Just heading into this final push, what can you say about the mentality of the players just to get over the line and you know, stay in the Premiership next season?
Yeah, there's great togetherness in the group, and at the same time, we know we're not in a great position. But I guess there's more for us to gain when you're further down. So that's the sort of positive mindset that we've taken on, and you know, we'll continue to do so for the rest of the season.
And you sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I suppose the mentality going into this game a little bit of, you know, don't let that result against Celtic go to waste. You know, you've got to try and pick up something against Dundee United now to keep it going. Yeah,
exactly. I think that's what the managers emphasise as well, is that sometimes, you know, you can come away from a good win. Perhaps sometimes teams might let complacency come in and you might not perform to the standards that you would like. But I think we are definitely not going to let that happen. And I think a key indicator of that will be how we start the game. So I think we will be up for it.
Do you think it can almost be a little bit of a sort of warning shot to the teams around you? You know, if you do win again this weekend, you'll be, you know, 2 points behind Dundee before they play, and potentially 3 points from safety altogether, and just, you know, showing you're very much still in the fight. Yeah,
indeed. I think we as a team believe that we can still get out of the position that we're in, and you know, hopefully other teams are looking, and you know, if they are underestimating us, then I don't think they should, because the spirit's good, the togetherness is good, and yeah, we'll keep fighting to the end.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Zach, with Dre Wright picking up a nasty injury, the manager's going to have to shuffle his pack in defence. How does that affect you as players, knowing that, you know, there's going to be a kind of different setup?
Yeah, of course. I think that's the benefit of training. You know, you can get to build relationships with different players. I know, like you said, it's hard to perhaps have that change when you've built rapport with certain players in the back line, but again, yeah, training will help that, and as a group, I think we all will get on both on the pitch and off the pitch. So I think that helps as well.
So from your personal point of view, you don't really mind who's alongside you?
No, not at all. I think that's as a player, you've got to just focus on yourself individually, and do the best you can, no matter what is sort of presented in terms of formation and team. I know that us as a team, we've played in different formations, and myself in different positions, so not necessarily too much of a fault of mine, but yeah, I think it might be difficult, but I think we'll definitely get through that.
Well, very, very best of luck to it Saturday. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thanks.